Welcome back to Double D Do Business, and I'm here with
Debbie Halls-Evans.
Debbie, we're up to something a bit different this Saturday morning, aren't we?
Yes, so we're not recording on a Friday. We chose, particularly with everything that's going on in the world right now, is we are going to go live, or Dave's attempting to go live, but we're recording the podcast anyway. So we're going to do simultaneous if we can. If not, you've still got your podcast.
Well, we definitely are going to attempt to go live. It looks like we might be live on Facebook, so we'll find out in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it says we are live on the device we're using, so let's find out what's going on online, literally. So Debbie, what have we got installed today?
So one of the things that we've been sharing through the past week is just stuff around COVID-19, as everybody's being consumed by that conversation right now. So we wanted to just add value, and ultimately that's what we've been doing for a long time, is if we can give services and products and things away free, we do, because we think sharing is caring, and actually that's how people learn. We've built a whole new system just to share free resources. There's no obligation, no sign, you just put your email in. But there's constantly new stuff going in there, really practical stuff. Because one of the things that we found was there is an amazing amount of information out there, which is awesome, the life of technology.
Yeah, the world has gone online.
Yeah. Although, from and this is my personal view, is I don't know what's some of the practicals that come from it. So our view was, how do we make this more practical, and personally or professionally, how do I deal with what we're doing?
It's that how question again, isn't it? You can have the best self-help book in the world, but if the book doesn't give you a clear how guide, where do you start? Where do you even begin?
Yeah.
So we've also got two models that we've been talking to our clients about this week. Mm-hmm. If anyone saw the broadcast with Vince Howard on Friday, Vince Howard from Florida, where we did another test live feed, we were excited to hear about real businesses, and we got a whole host of friends like that in the States making real decisions to make real impact in the communities that they're part of. And I'm sure that'll come up as we talk, Debbie, won't it?
Yeah, completely. And I think what we want to do is we want to just continue doing what we can do to the best of our ability. And I think that's what everybody needs to do. But I think there's a couple of real shout-outs for me. Is one of them, there is a reality check that it may not feel real to you right now, what is going on, but we know it's real around the world, and we cannot dismiss it. We're being given advice and support and understanding, and we're being told to stay at home if you can, if you're not a critical key worker. And I think there's a new normal. Actually, there's never been a normal, has there? So I suppose, but the new normal is we have to stay indoors. We have to protect other people. We have got to be selfish to ourselves by staying indoors. And that means we're being selfless, helping other people. And I think we've got to understand it, because you're not feeling it now, or you're not ill, or you've not lost somebody. Thousands of people have lost loved ones. We have to get a grip here.
Prematurely.
Yeah, prematurely.
Early,
and I'm really conscious that I move my glasses a lot, and you're not to touch your face. So again, a new normal. But we've got a new language going now. So social distancing, self-isolation. These are languages that 2 weeks ago we weren't even discussing.
But there is a barrier to this. We've seen it socially around where we live. People being in a distinct part of the bereavement curve, Debbie, in denial.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not going to happen to me. It's not here yet. And actually, if we go back to the Italians, all the articles from doctors,
Spain,
specialists across the
Iran.
world. That's the dangerous time. So the danger is when you don't see it. It's not when it arrives. Yeah. So we can all take control of what we are doing. There's also a host of positives in the world today.
And this is the bit I've loved.
Extraordinary stuff.
Yeah, so we're really fortunate, and we know that, and we understand that. Our business, is our business, and we've had some incredible conversations, and part of our life is having coaching conversations and allowing and understanding and exploring the opportunities that people have actually got. So for some, it's challenges of moving their business to remote, which they've never had to consider or even think about. And part of our free resources show you how to do that as well. But in regards to actually seeing what they can really now do. People's skills, people's not judging, people not making assumptions, people allowing to stop and slow down a little bit. That people are going to become more productive and more effective. Seeing the reality of this will end at some point. We don't know what that point is. And, somebody said to me the other day, we have a society that is highly anxious, and ultimately that's a benefit to us right now, because the anxiety allows us to prepare for the what ifs, and so we're now in that anxious cycle too. So I think there's an opportunity of seeing the good, genuine good. Humans are ultimately good things. We're not bad people. And we've got an opportunity to really help each other. We've got an opportunity to suddenly realise that we talk about our global world is local. Our world is very small. This is something that was started in the mid-December, and now we're in March, and it's across the whole wide world.
So let's pull apart what is a really great flow of stuff that you're talking through there. I know, indeed. But there's a couple of things. If you've put technology off about being able to work in any location, now's the time to master that. Why can't you take your work wherever you are?
And I think this is the bit you can get really stuck on, is that you suddenly need all this fancy equipment.
Yeah.
You don't. This thing here is as functional as a working remote office. So, we don't need to spend thousands of pounds. We don't need to be in a position where you might need might need your headset.
But as Vince's advice on Friday said, it might be the time also to get the bits that you're missing.
I get that.
So there's both, like anything, Debbie, there's good and bad. So one of the bits of advice he was saying on the live cast was, don't hold back because of conditions. If the change you got to invest in now is the one that, even in the current world climate, is going to make the change you need in 3 months' time. Because there's nothing worse in business than looking back and going, oh, I wish I'd done that.
Well, we also know from the conversations that we're having with many clients globally is that what we're going to see is a transition in a work style that we've never had before.
Yeah.
So, not everybody's going to come back and work in the office like they used to, because they've remote worked for 3 months or however long this is going to take hold of our world. So the reality of it is that we have to say, do we need to invest, because our world will be different. We have to get our heads around this. The world will be different. I genuinely believe it's going to be a better place.
Yeah.
So make that investment if you're in a business perspective. But I think people are panicking about, I can't do this and I can't do that. If you have a mobile phone and a phone charger, you have got the kit you need to stay in contact, to follow up, watch, listen, hear, connect. You can do it all. And can I also say, if you've got a pen and paper, you can also stay in touch.
Yeah. We're going to pull a word out in a second, panic.
Yes.
We're going to talk about how to cope with that, things you can do.
Yep.
Where that was stimulated from this week. So another kudos to one of our clients who's getting ahead of their people and really thinking about how to handle this. The other thing that you did say, Debbie, is that if anyone was listening to the specifics, we do have a completely free area. What's it called?
RLC How.
RLC How. If you want tools, techniques of how to get through this, Debbie this week alone has uploaded a whole section on well-being that is really useful. So if you're having a little bit of that anxiety or a lot of that anxiety in your life at the moment, and you're thinking, how do I cope with this? Then it's worth logging into that for free to get some content
no
from RLC.
Nothing. We're not going to spam you with emails.
There's nothing for sale in there, is there? Nothing
we
at all.
refuse point blank to sell.
We just want to do our bit as a brand, and our multiple brands that we're part of. I know that also the Mastery Network in the States, Debbie, are talking about doing some really cool things next week for all of their CPA friends and other industries. So it's joining that movement, isn't it, of what can you do to make a difference, as well as trade normally? Yeah,
so if you do want to access that, the link is in the podcast, if you're following the podcast, and it'll be on the Facebook Live book as well. But it's our website, so www.rlcglobal.group. There's a pop-up that comes up, or there's an announcement bar at the top. You just click that and it'll take you straight through to the free resources. And we're continuously adding to it. So at the minute we've got well-being, because that's about self and personal and how you can be the best version of yourself right now and deal with stuff. There's loads of techniques in there as well of just dealing with some of the stuff that our brain's going through. And then we've got some of the professional stuff as well. So if you're in the work mode, you know, suddenly you've transitioned and you're working at home, you've got the kids and the dog and the family and, you know, everything's going on. How do you actually do that? So we've got some ideas in there.
And to make it easy, click the link in this live feed or click the link in the podcast to find it if you're thinking, how did I write that down, etc. So, sorry, Debbie. Let's talk about the I know.
So you can't do that because now people will get nervous and you just coughed into your hand and you're live.
I have to do some training on that.
That's how simple this is for us to
so
mess
simple,
it up.
Yeah. Now, in the spirit of panic, Debbie, we spoke to a couple of our clients this week who were really anxious about giving their best version of themselves to leading their people. Now, in America and in Britain, the word anxious means different things. So in Britain, we'd say concerned.
Yes.
Right. In America, they use the word anxious to reflect concern. So we had a great conversation, didn't we? And those of you who go into the help area, the RLC How, you'll find a sanity checklist and a sanity deck, which is super useful to share with your people. Let's focus on panic for now, though. And what does the P stand for, Debbie?
Right, well, I don't know what you're asking me for. You wrote it. So Dave loves an acronym. I don't know why he's just put me on the spot or why he thinks that's funny. So why don't you tell people the things that you've created? That would be really good.
All right, good idea. So the P stands for pause. I know. I think there's going to be loads of opportunities for us to. Oh, I just touched my face.
See?
Yeah, so easy, isn't it?
It is really easy.
Lots of opportunities for us to pause at the moment, stop and think. You know, in the military, they talk about the STOP principle. You know, stop, think, options, positive, and proceed. So it comes from a really rich essence of disciplined thinking. The second thing, once you pause, Debbie, is to assess.
Stop and in case you ask me again.
Yeah, that's right, in case I ask her again. It was really funny on the live feed the other day talking to Mike Boots about this and asking him for the Mastery Network and asking him to come up with the answers, and he had no idea what the model was. Next one is the word next. What are your next steps? Now, in those first 3 steps, you're giving yourself some thought time. That's what's important at the moment, because in a model we're going to share with you later on in this podcast called the H.O.P.E model, we're going to give you a really important word beginning with P there too when we get to it. You're all right with that?
Yeah, I just don't like the word model. I just think it's a technique. It's a way of using
panic technique.
Yeah, it's a way of using the word, because you remember, if I'm panicking, all right, okay, what have I got to do? I've got to pause. I've just got to stop now. I'm going to assess, because I'm listening to what he says, and then I'm going to start planning what I need to do next. So go on,
And my intention, Debbie, was to take the very feeling of panic, turn it into a word, which means you disassociate, and then turn it into a helpful process.
Which is an NLP technique.
Which is an NLP in process.
Yeah.
Now, the I is about the best question in the world. What can I do? What can I do right now? What change can I make? What do I need to stop doing? If you are in a state of panic, you probably need to stop, actually, right there and then. And just, you know, some of the guides talk about breathing. That's not always the case. Doing something else is the best way to change it. And then finally is choices. Once you've gone through this process, what choices do you now have that you maybe didn't have before? So it's using how you might be feeling as an opportunity rather than getting stuck there. What do you think of that, Debbie?
I like it. I think, you know, as with any technique, what you'll find is it'll be a blend of lots of different things. But ultimately, I think the reason why these all quickly absorb is because if I'm panicking, the word panic, I'll link it to the words, and that's what the other one on H.O.P.E is about as well. So let's call them a technique rather than a model, because it sounds a little bit cliche, you know what I mean? Just thought I'd let you know.
That's okay. You forced me to explain how I came up with it, which is going through the feeling. Yeah. Disassociation to word into process.
Great.
There's a new thing right there, Debbie, isn't it?
See, what's really weird is most people don't see me rolling my eyes at you and tutting and doing everything
but
else.
But you're going to see it today. This is the real deal. Now, Debbie, I'd like you to talk about some of the things that you've been up to this week while I do the right thing. I have to go and wash my hands. Right? So talk to him about some of the stuff you've got going on there.
All right, so for me, it is, I'm just going to keep going and keep bashing that drum on being practical and being realistic. So I kind of just started writing kind of lists of things of what and how we can do things. So the one is, there is no normal. So please don't associate or put yourself under any pressure is what is normal. What is normal remote working? What is normal socialisation? What is normal social distances? We've got some real practical things that we now know. We've got to be 6 feet away from somebody. We've got to keep washing our hands for a minimum of 20 seconds, any soap. And I just think, I'm seeing and hearing a lot of people talking about and putting themselves under pressure in a new world. There is no normal, so allow that word panic and use those techniques to pull yourself away from that. Do what you can. And I wrote this down because I was really considering some of the conversations that I've had. There is no right or wrong decision right now in reference to if you make a decision, for example, you're going to pay your team a certain amount of money, and then the next day you change your mind. That's absolutely okay. If you tell your partner you're feeling this way, and then the next day or the next hour you're feeling something else, it's okay. So I think we've just got to right now, until we start stabilising and understanding more, is that just do what you can, and that is enough. And I think that's really important.
And coming along to that conversation, Debbie, with Clean Hands, is I think there's a real critical difference there. There's a leadership difference. If you're the number one as in there's nobody else around you, right? Then find a better place to express your conversations. So those of us who have coaches, talk to your coach about it. So if sometimes when you talk to your employees or your number two, right, they might take your thought as action. So they might take your thought as commitment. So have a bit of space, a mental space, to speak to a mentor or a coach and say, here's my thoughts, where they're at, I'm undecided, and come to a conclusion. And
we're really fortunate. Our clients have been doing an awesome job of doing that this week.
They've done a great job of doing that.
One of the really great things I read the other day, and I will find the resource for it, so we are actually acknowledging other people's work, is as leaders, so if you're running a business, but also I actually think this is in the home as well, I think it relates, is allow less. You know, we have expectations and standards and assumptions and all of this kind of stuff, but I actually think while we're just all stabilising, is just allow less. Allow people to stop. Allow people to reset. Allow people to, pause, assess. What are my next plans? What can I do? And what are my choices? That takes a little bit of time. So let's not all suddenly realise that we've all got to work at 100 miles an hour. For some, that is their way that they work. For me, that's how I work, and it makes me feel good. But for other people, it might not be. So that's one of the things I wrote down there. I wrote down connect, people. We are in, and I say this in one of my videos, but I genuinely believe we're in a really exciting time, and ignoring all the horror, because I'm not ignoring it, I'm just right now in this context, is we have the ability to connect with people better than we've ever done before. And just because I'm not in the same house as my children, or I am with Dave, which is the best isolation partner I could have, but in regards to just connect with people,
that's a relief, isn't it?
But just connect with people, those phone calls or those follow up with a text message if you don't want to actually have a conversation, book FaceTimes, just do whatever, but actually really connect with people. And this is teams, this is business, and also personal.
We've seen pubs doing virtual open mic events.
Oh, I think there's some awesome stuff going on. Really cool
across the social media platforms, people being really innovative. We're doing a family something tonight, aren't we, on FaceTime, games or something?
Oh no, we're not doing the games. We're doing like a bit of advertising, Netflix party, watching a movie.
Oh, right, fantastic. So it's that type of thing.
There is some real, and also, can we just give a shout out? There are some awesome things happening. Whether you are politically averse to the Conservatives, but what is happening right now and what we are doing as a society and a government is incredible. We are helping people. Whether you agree or disagree, fight it out. But I guarantee that if you then start mocking that they are doing everything possible they can do, I think we've got to all step back and go, hold on, if I was that person making those decisions, would I be staying as strong and as focused? And I think we've got to put recognition into what is happening societally as well. And
what we observe around the world is people making decisions faster than they ever have done.
Incredible.
Quicker than ever before.
And if I change my mind,
breaking all types of protocol. to accelerate things through. And the bit for me, Debbie, is each time this week, particularly in Britain, there's been amazing things made as an advancements, right? And understand we're in the self-employed camp, so in Britain we're not in the bit where the help is, right? So the government's getting to that next.
Yeah,
so that's what I've witnessed. That's what I see.
Yeah, because also we've got to be able to. Every day is a new day, and even more so than anything. So I think we've got to just say that was good. So they are everybody in that level. You've got civil servants who are working hours and hours and hours, hours under stress and duress just to make it better for you and me. So let's just be kind about that. And it might not be your decision, but do you know what? Right now, it's a decision, and they are doing, from my understanding and my personal perspective, whether it's my political view or not, is they are doing the best they can. And I think that is awesome. And there's lots of other big businesses doing that. We've got big business like Rolls-Royce making ventilators, all of that kind of stuff. Dave tells me to stop because I keep going.
Yeah, you could be doing the Debbie Halls-Evans podcast by herself. No,
I could do that.
Yeah, absolutely, you could. The information you're sharing is tremendous. Let's pause for a moment because I think we can segue into the next technique.
Okay, good.
All right. So you talked about all these great workers working around the clock. Another wonderful shout out I heard yesterday, I don't know if anything's happened with this, was the post office deciding to get their posties to help deliver prescriptions. That's one. Prescriptions, yeah. Medicine to those that need it, along with community groups. What was it in Australia? Caremongering. That's a new phrase, isn't it? I love that. Caremongering. Yeah.
That's miles
read
better than
read
the
about that this
one.
morning. Yeah. So I love that just by deleting the S.
Yeah.
What a fabulous idea. So it's those type of things really around really changing lanes here and going into this technique of a word I've been talking about all week, which is hope. So we're living in a world today where there is, like you said, there'll be exciting possibilities and exciting opportunities. There's also terror, anxiety and fear.
Yeah.
And let's remember what Zig Ziglar said, false evidence appearing real. If there was ever a time to bring back a quote from the past, today is it, right? False evidence appearing real, because we need hope. And the hope technique is designed to do exactly that. Now, it also insists that we place others first. So let's deal with what the HOPE model stands for. I believe you might know this one.
HOPE technique.
Yeah, what's the H?
Help.
That's right.
Help.
Good job.
See, I knew that one. I've got up to P. I've forgotten what P is, but I'm sure you'll explain.
I will, yeah. So what's the O?
O is opportunity or options.
And you can take these first two steps and apply them any way you like. It's up to you. What I would like you to think about is to turn them into questions. What can I do to help myself? What can I do to help others? Helping myself it links to the book too, selfish first, to be able to be selfless. There's no point helping somebody else on a plane if you're putting the mask on and you can't breathe, trying to help somebody else breathe, right? So it's a really tried and tested essence. Opportunity and options what are they? Are you asking that question enough? We've seen restaurants, particularly across the world, Debbie, where our clients are all over the place, really having to think on their feet about what do we do. I saw in Preston a brilliant advert of a new van being played to the A-Team music. What's it called? The Bee Ambulance. Beer ambulance.
The beer.
Yeah, so
beer bum.
And a telephone line to ring if you have an emergency that you've run out of beer. No, that's a really good way.
Awesome.
It's just making the most of the opportunity at this moment in time. Let's go back to the P then, Debbie. Let's go to that for a second.
Remind me.
Do you remember the Blockbuster TV show?
Right, just say me what the P is, please.
Can I have a P, please, Bob?
Right, yeah.
Anyway, if you're in America, you might not have seen that. But anyway, here's the thing. It's perspective.
Perspective.
Now, perspective is a huge word in business. It's a huge word in life. Because the first thing you've got to ask yourself with perspective is my perspective right? Because it might not be.
And there's a really good question here, and I have stolen this from Byron Katie, who has if you do find her out, she's got a really great website and support. But one of her key questions is this true? Which kind of fits in with your Zig Ziglar quote as well. But it's, we are living in a world that some people are not caremongering, they're scaremongering. So just find the facts. Don't share something if you've not researched it, or put a bit of effort in if you have got the time now. Just put a bit of effort in to find that if you are going to share something because you're doing it because you care, actually just source the facts first.
And then finally, the E is encourage. You see, this is about encouragement. So that's the doing of encourage, right? So even if it's tough, even if it's not good, even if the news is difficult, do it in your best way.
Yeah, I agree
Be an
with
encourager. Leave hope in the situation, even when it's terrible. You know, I read an article the other day about in Italy where the doctors who were wearing these bubble wrap head guards were still finding moments to give phones to patients to say goodbye to people. That's devastating, Hope.
Yeah, devastating, yeah.
But still encouraging.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's coming next, other than that this is going to take a set amount of time. We're going to have to all go through it globally, all work our way around it and through it. And if we just have hope at the heart of all that we decide to do, then I think we can all do a better job.
I'm really conscious of time. We are going to stick to half an hour and we're going to post this on the podcast, and we'll probably do more podcasts than normal and just randomly through the week. So if you do subscribe, you will get a little thing going, oh, Debbie and Dave have done a double D. So let us, please do follow us, because we're...
Although it is technically triple D. Have you noticed?
Double D, yes, that's very
It's
true.
triple D.
So I just want to, and this is a really important one for me, and it's one that I champion a lot, but I think one of the good things that has come out of this whole situation is that the realisation of the jobs and the roles that people do that we've undermined, and that we societally don't look or think are relevant. They are the most relevant, and these are the people and the workers, that delivery drivers. You know, we undermine, everybody says they praise the nurses and doctors, but do you do anything about it? No, you just say, oh, they're really good and I'm really glad they do what they do. Do something about it. Actually help. You can volunteer on wards. There's most business, Lothian where we are at the minute, are asking for volunteers. Do something about it. Recognise that that supermarket shelf filler that you've undermined or you've been rude to previously, you need them now. You need them to fill shelves. You know, we undermine some of these roles because they are perceived to be lesser paid roles, etc. Delivery drivers, all of these people that are keeping the world moving have just demonstrated to us that everybody is equal. You know, it doesn't matter what my race, my gender, my political view is, or my religion, anything. This virus doesn't care. We are all human beings on our planet fighting to make sure that we stay alive and our loved ones stay alive. So if those are two things you take away from this horrible situation that we're going through, is that we are all equal. Treat everybody as equal. And secondly, never undermine somebody's job role or function, irrespective of what they're doing. And I think that's huge.
That's a really strong ending there, Debbie. I think there's a third one, and that is do what we're being asked to do.
Yeah.
And that's not us or you. That's when your government says, do X. If you ever find yourself, you know, there's some of us in the world, Debbie, not naming any names, who sometimes don't like being told what to do. And in times like this, it's the best thing to do. And when the government says, do this in a situation like this, the best thing we can all do above everything else is do what they're asking us to do. And the reason why I say that is not because of the government, it's because that's what the healthcare workers are crying out saying.
Yeah, I agree.
All over the world they're saying, when they're telling you to stay in, you really should stay in. And you know, we've all read it.
Seeing what we're not seeing.
Yeah, we've all read it and gone, yeah, sure. But no, it really is that. So quick recap before we bring this to a close. Loads of content to give you, loads of content to help you. If you are running meetings virtually and you're a little bit stuck what to do, I had a great chat with Rob Leake this week about how to optimize his virtually. Do the right thing. Ask the people that know. We've been doing Zoom videos for years. So if you want any help, reach out to us at
RLC-Global. Oh, I've got...
Surprise.
See? Thanks for that. So if you want to email us, please email me direct at debbie@rlc-global.group. No, that's not even it, is
what
it?
are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. info@rlc-global.com will get you to Debbie.
Thanks.
So now, does that help?
Yeah.
Now, sincerely...
I'll put everything on the links.
We will release later this week one of our meeting templates, so that if you're one of our learners, one of our followers, you can watch that, learn that, and you know, be encouraged. Whether you are meeting in the flesh, people always tell us they have meetings about meetings about meetings, or whether you are doing it virtually, you're going to have meetings about meetings about meetings. So let us help you get that better to save everybody a lot of time.
Yeah.
And again, stay tuned with us. We will be live next week. We're going to be broadcasting again on Monday, and throughout the week, RLC is live in different forms from Monday to Friday to encourage you and to make ourselves available to give you hope and to help you use the Panic content. Debbie, any last words?
No, because I'll go on another rant. So it is info@rlc-global.
Well done.
.com.
Do you get stuck again?
I go stuck again. Anyway, happy Saturday. Enjoy listening to this podcast as much as we've enjoyed recording it and doing this live thing going on. But we'll keep doing this, and if we can help, we will.
Please share us, and we'll see you on the next Double D Do Business.